Almighty God, you have blessed us with memory, reason, and skill. Help us to use them wisely in the service of our town government. We ask this in thy holy name, amen.
Amen.
Just look at the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first thing I have, I'd like to have May 11th monthly meeting minutes approved.
I make a motion that we approve the May minutes.
I'll make a second if we approve them.
Thank you. Any questions, concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. You have your town clerk's monthly report. That Julie's provides to us every month. There's activity there.
I make a motion that we approve the town clerk's monthly report, May 1st through May 31st.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any questions on town clerk's monthly report?
We're gonna see the dog license revenue increase right here.
A few people got in this week. Shay Z sent out notices, little cards in the mail, and obviously a lot of people in the Coopersville, that end of our township, got those cards, and reminding them to register their dogs, so
And it worked.
it helps.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I really appreciate Mr. Perrier's efforts here in making sure that we've got incident reports now.
Yeah.
We've never had that in the past, and I think that kind of, I think provides some more substantiation in terms of the actual efforts that he's
He's,
carrying forth.
Been stopping in about once a week
Yeah,
to visit with Sarah and I and updating us and Julie. That seems to be working well.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, and he does an excellent job.
yep, okay. I don't think we voted on it, did we?
Have we ever voted on
Voting on what?
Your monthly report?
it?
Oh,
Yes.
yes, we did.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, the next one is your dog, monthly report of your dog patrol officer. It's actually from May 14th when he started till the end of the month. You'll need to be approved, but please read it all, very interesting. Okay. Charter communication, we get these just about every year, some changes on that. Spectrum Northeast, known as Spectrum, is noticing its customers on or that around June 29th. Spectrum news channels located on channel 1, 9, 20, 10, 20, and 200. On a basic starter TV and Spectrum Essentials will be rebranded in all the New York channels, and they listed there, strictly for information. Okay. I have, Superintendent of Highway report, I can only report that we are going to be starting paving around the 22nd of this month. The county's coming in, Alan has 2 roads in mind. He's got very little work to do to get ready for those. So, and as I mentioned a few minutes ago, he is working for the state in the next 2-3 days anyways, okay? They're grinding Route 9 from the border to the village. Other than that, and the past few days, he put in that volleyball court on the Bob Van Park.
Well, it's not completed yet, he started.
Yes.
It's gonna take a couple days.
Did he put the poles in today?
He was, if you could get the cement, yes.
Okay, I heard he was putting poles in today.
Yeah, but there's
Okay.
still,
I didn't realize there was that much need or desire to have a volleyball court. I am understanding it's been well maintained, used. There used to be one at the VFW, there's none there any longer. Okay,
it's gonna be real nice, everybody should be able to see it from the school, the poles, and it's a good start, at the park. And hopefully we can continue to do some other things there, this summer. It'll be slow, it's not a one-year deal, but if we can add 2 or 3 things every year, And there's also gonna be some summer activities for kids there through the youth commission. So that's good.
And he is looking at a much larger lawnmower. I believe they call it like a finishing lawnmower, something much wider, like 3 times as wide. It's pulled by a tractor, not a lawnmower. You know?
I think it's about 6 feet long, wide,
Oh, wow.
so that'll,
Oh, I think it's even wider than that.
well, the one he's
Yeah, it's
looking
2
at.
wings on it.
Yeah, but
I
it's
haven't
wide.
seen it yet. It's a used one.
Is it a triple deck or a
Pardon?
double deck? You know?
I think triple.
Is it a triple deck?
The center and the.
So you have the 2 outsides and the one in the
Yeah,
center?
that's what he told me. I haven't seen it. It's in Peru, to tell you the truth. Okay.
Well, it's worth noting that they've done a wonderful job keeping up with the property. It looks good, looks good.
May and June, it needs mowing every 3 or 4 days.
Yes,
It goes
it doesn't
fast.
take much for the grass to grow.
Okay, so, that's all I have on the highway report. As I said, the paving will start at the end of the month. It's quite early for us, sometimes we go into July and August, and I've seen it in September before they got to us. Okay? I know of no committee reports, Brian, you're on the fuel, I don't see any there.
Well, I just wanna mention that, thank Alan for getting that volleyball
Yes,
started. And also that Heather Morrison was very good in getting some of the people involved and talking to Alan and getting the ball rolling to get a ball there, so she did a good job. And she's been
Okay.
working at, Lee Gadway's also helping. And it's really gonna be a big improvement, it really should. And he's leveled a large area that we weren't able to use last year at Bob Ben Park. It was just brush and overgrown, and he got some fill, and he's leveled it, and he's gonna be seeding it. So most of the area around the volleyball court will be freshly seeded and usable now, where before it was just overgrown. We couldn't use it. It wasn't even really on our planning, on our map, because it was so overgrown. And now it's nice and level.
okay.
Well, it's good, it gives one more facet to the
Yep,
use of the park.
serving the people's desires and needs. We have talked about in the past, those of us that were here in the past 3 or 4 years, we got a slow start financially on our water project, but we built up a reserve fund, hopefully enough to take care of any anticipated problems as far as break on major lines. And we reviewed it. We feel that at this time, we could reduce the water rate by 50 cents. That would be my recommendation. I certainly want to hear from the board on this one. Okay. One thing we gotta be real careful at, we gotta make sure down the road, 3 or 4 years down the road, that we have enough money to take care of the water towers.
Right.
Okay, and they could be expensive. To my knowledge, there's been no problems with them, but,
Well, there's a 5-year maintenance schedule.
Yes.
So
Right.
and the first 5 years isn't too bad, but every 5 years after, the price keeps going up because there's more maintenance required. Brand new, you don't have much maintenance. And
Right.
so we do have to be aware, next year we'll probably start having to pay on it and pay for maintenance. And we shouldn't be fooled by the lower end of the spectrum as far as cost. Because in another 5 years, it's gonna be a lot more, and in another 5.
we got to a slow start on this project as far as our reserve fund. Remember, for a while, we owed the village $30,000 a year, and we were behind at one time here 3 or 4 years ago. We caught up, we do have a fund balance now, and we do feel that we can reduce that. That's the thinking of the board here.
Well, I think Sarah did a nice job of kind of providing the financials, giving an analysis of what it would look like if we reduced it by 50 cents and then again by $1. I'd say that she has her, compass more on exactly where the financials are with this water account. So I would, after looking at the financials she provided to us, I would be willing to approve that we reduce the town water rates by 50 cents.
Is that a
Effective,
motion?
That is my motion.
effective July 1st.
Effective the third quarter of the year.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes, thank you. Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any questions, concerns? And certainly, we're gonna be taking a look at this on a yearly basis down the road. Okay? If there's no other questions, maybe we should have a roll call vote on this one. Rick?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Jason?
Aye.
Aye for myself, thank you.
All right, you
Yes.
never went to the public, so,
Pardon?
you never went to the public, so can I talk? I wanna
Oh,
get the
I am,
Moore's.
I'm trying to keep you quiet. I'm sorry about
I
that.
wanna get to the Moore's meeting.
Okay,
Just a quick review on the sales tax again, it's continuing to, the projections for the towns and villages share was 3.9 million through May. The actual revenue brought in was almost 5.2 million, so it's 1.2 million difference over the projection. And based on the actual revenue, based on from a year ago, we're about $450,000 ahead of last year's revenue, so. Sales tax revenue continues to look good. But as I was talking with a businessman last week, he mentioned, well, because all my prices are going up, he says, people are gonna be paying more sales tax just buying what they have been buying, so, you know,
Catch 22 there.
yeah, what looks good is, you know,
just on the gas alone, the extra sales tax,
yeah.
okay.
And I mentioned after the meeting last month, the possibility, and I know it's probably gonna be brought up later, about naming the rec trail in honor of Harry McManus, who, let's face it, it was his idea, right, 30 years ago, and he thought that they got it constructed, and without Harry, that trail wouldn't be there, so I think it'd be a nice idea. I mentioned it to the village of Champlain, and Janet seems to be on board with it. So it'd be nice if the town got together with the two villages and named that rec trail in honor of Harry McManus. So that's
Okay.
something you can bring up after I'm gone here, but I just wanted to mention that.
Thank you.
I have a question for you, Cal.
Fire away.
On the state law concerning re-levy of unpaid taxes, or municipalities not being able to re-levy unpaid taxes, is there any word on that? Is there any-
The state is, I think they think they're helping people, but they're not. People can get 3-4 years behind, and if they try to make you know, if they're already behind, if they make a 1-year payment, it doesn't really help them. So the state is just making it really more difficult, in my estimation, than they are making it easy. Although they're trying to, like, delaying things and pushing it down the road, they think they're helping people,
Not.
but I don't think they are. But that's a state level, and there's not a darn thing we
We
can
haven't
do.
heard anything about them removing it or putting a
Last time that
deadline?
Kimberly Davis talked about it, there was nothing on the agenda, nothing on the horizon to change any of that.
So we had roughly $45,000 last year re-levied. We got that money in January when they paid their taxes. If we had to assume a part of that even, or all of that,
Okay.
towns are gonna be hurting a little bit.
Yeah, but it's a state decision, you know, not a darn thing any of us can do about it, except complain to the state.
Have you heard
Right.
nothing about the selling of properties for back taxes? Is that still on hold, you know?
Uh,
Usually, they did
I-
not have a sale last year?
I'm thinking that it may be held up again this year. I'm thinking
That's, there again, that's only put it
yeah,
off.
it's just, and what's happening is, if you got a bill, because I asked, I said, if somebody is behind and they're getting foreclosed on and their building is falling apart, can they agree to turn it over? No, they can't. So it has to deteriorate, another year's worth of deterioration, you know, and that's not helping things.
And it's not giving those properties back on the tax roll either.
Right, right, and it's making them less desirable if if a house is in bad shape and it's just getting worse. She did say that most of the property that's seized and ends up in that situation is not being lived on and lived in, so it's not like somebody, once in a while, I'm sure it happens, but it's not like people are being thrown out of the homes they're living in most cases.
And it's not affecting the property values of local properties?
I still,
I would think so, and that's what I'm wondering in terms of commercial versus residential for some of these, and again, I don't know how many total properties there are that fall under that category.
You'd have to talk to an assessor about that.
Right.
I would think unless somebody spoke up, they wouldn't consider that as part of the, I know I had to appeal recently, and, you know, so if you don't appeal, you take what the assessor gives you.
okay.
Thank you, Calvin.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
I'll say you hello to Morris for you guys.
All right, please.
Thank you.
Does somebody want to discuss the rec trail? I mean, what's our, this is the first time I've heard this. I've not heard this before.
I think, as Calvin has said, this is something that has been a vision of Harry McManus for a long time. And it's only through his hard work and efforts and that instrumental, movement in terms of contacting the correct people that the funds even became available for something like this. So I think it's a good idea to kind of move forward and, give credit where credit is due.
I think that's well put. I don't disagree with that at all. I think if you're trying to do something that puts a positive light on the work that has been done, and that's a little, it's a free opportunity to promote the trail, promote the person who put the trail in, and other than a little bit of time and paperwork, it's not costing anybody anything.
The grant was administered through the county highway department, it was mostly federal funding,
Okay.
okay?
But he kept it going, I mean, whenever we had
Well,
problems.
I would say he waited for an opportunity and it came along, because he waited a long time for an opportunity to get that large of a grant. It was like $1.4 million, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's a heavy sum of money. And I believe it's well used.
Yes, no doubt about it.
Well,
Yeah.
No
Okay.
doubt about it.
I've had good reports. I had a gentleman call me 2 or 3 weeks ago, told me how well kept our portion was. Appreciated that. Moving the sides and, we fixed, well, we had some washouts 2 or 3 years ago, we paved it, it's a lot better. And that way we don't have to fix washouts every year. We do have a short section, I'm thinking around 1,200 feet, that Alan wants to be the last section that we need to pave. He's looking at that, hopefully there's money to do that. It runs between $12,000, $14,000, $15,000 for that section of it. Somebody wants to make a motion, or?
One of the things in talking prior to our meeting tonight, I'll get in touch with the village of Rouse's Point and see if they can put that on their next village agenda to kind of, because I think it's belongs to all 3 of the municipalities. It's not just the people within inside the town, the village, so.
Can you contact the mayor, the village?
Not a problem. We'll
Just get your thoughts?
Yep, we can get this rolling, absolutely. Yeah. Should we make a motion to basically act upon this and with the other municipalities? I don't know what you want for formal wording, but let's.
I would make a motion that we investigate the possibility of naming the recreation trail, Northern Tier Recreation Trail after Harry McManus, and investigate whether the 2 villages would be willing to go along with us on that.
Great motion.
I don't think it'll work well if the villages did not go along. You can't name a portion of the trail.
Right.
Okay, that's my thought.
You can't, I mean.
You can, yeah, but it would be much better if,
Well, it would be better.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Yes.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Okay, that's about all I have.
One question I do have in regards to the Bob Ben Park, Brook Trail, that area. I know there was a question about the backstop. Are we all set with that, with the backstop in terms of, looking at the minutes, there were some ideas there in terms of the uncertainty of where that backstop was or where it was going, and I know they said they found it in tall grass. Do we know anything?
It's all set.
Okay.
It's, I don't know, I hate to use this as a reference point, but you know where the porta potty is?
Okay,
It's like 8 feet over
okay,
from there. It wasn't in mowed grass, but of course you can't mow the chain link fence and the posts that are all in the pile. So we're just leaving that until we decide where it fits into the plan to put in a second field. And or whether it may go to Ferry's Mills, you know. But after experiencing it with the first backstop, it's a lot of work, and you have to have a lot of volunteers, and you've got to coordinate with like the Champlain Telephone Company.
Correct.
Was very good about helping out. They were very good every time they've been asked to do something, the Champlain Phone Company. But it has to be on a certain day because they're using Champlain Telephone Company equipment, so it's, you gotta get the right date. And, you know, and if it rains, pours that day, you can't do it. And Alan Racine had to be available. He ended up making the concrete right there for the post and set in. So it's an involved thing. And unlike the volleyball court, we figured, you know, volleyball court is pretty much where it's gonna be. However, if you go down the road, you need to move it, take the poles out, cut them off, or whatever you do, and you know, that's it. You move it away. Where the backstop is going to be a really, we were very happy to have NCCS, Matt Arno is very good in disassembling it and bringing it to us. We did it both times, and he helped us figure out how to put it together. But, you know, all these people have to be around, and once it's in, it's pretty much in. It's not like the volleyball court.
Right.
You move 2 poles and you're done. This is something, so if anybody has ideas or, you know, feels there's a certain spot it should go,
well, there's one backstop up now, correct?
yes. Yes.
So, it was my understanding they were gonna have 2 fields, a softball field and a baseball field.
Yes.
So I was under the impression that this particular backstop was gonna be used for that other field.
Yes.
Okay.
The big thing is where to put it, because we've also got a couple soccer fields planned, and, you know, it's kind of figuring out exactly, and also our time and resources this year, I think would be best spent on developing the field we have there now. In other words, getting base paths in, setting up the bases, home plate, delineating the field, working on that field. And then if we can work it out and find a place for the second golf, we'll go with that. Another option is maybe Perry's Mills. That's,
There again, that park is fairly well used also.
very well, it's used, it's the basketball court, I like to say, is the only one that's lined that I've seen between here and Plattsburgh. With all the lines on it, and whoever, I apologize, I forget the name of the person who lined that court, but I looked at it this spring, and he did an excellent job. I mean, it didn't look like the paint was, you know, falling, coming off, or peeling, or anything. It looks like it's staying right there.
Yeah.
So we're gonna keep working on both parks. I used to think we could do this in a year or two, but I'm working on a 5-year plan.
The bottle drive at the Paris Mills Park.
John and Maria Canty, who live next door, have been fantastic.
Hundreds of dollars.
Oh, yeah, they've been very good about helping us purchase the playground equipment. We have a bottle deposit there, and they bring the bottles to Shazy, and they count them and just hand them a check at the end, and
Nice.
then they bring it to the town and deposit it, and we've been using it to help improve the Perry's Mills Park. And we should be doing a couple more things there this year. I don't wanna say what they are because it may not happen, but like pickleball. I mentioned that to Alan. We have the paved surface at the basketball court, and we have purchased a pickleball net so that we just fasten basically to the fence on one side, all the way across, and just have one post on the other side of the tarmac, and we have more than enough space on the basketball court, and, you know, it's not being used for basketball, it's just, you know, the pole, put the poles in, and you're ready to go. So that's one thing, and another thing might be a volleyball, portable volleyball net there, or if Alan wants to go all the way, you know, he might dig one out, but, you know, these are all things that depend on a lot of things. It's,
Right.
So we are gonna try and go, so John and Maria Canty have been the ones who've been sustaining that Perry's Mill Park, and, you know, a wonderful job. And we have porta potties at both places for parks, so that people wanna go to the playground, or they, I mean, on that trail, it's a godsend for people using that trail, it's just, it's fantastic. So, and then Perry's Mills, it's the same thing, it's set for kids, and what, you know, of course, as soon as you get there, I gotta go. Now we have a porta potty, and Tom Goslow is doing the rentals, so that's good, we're, you know, keep the local business, so.
Yep.
Keep our fingers crossed.
Thank you, Brian. Anybody got anything else before we pay the bills?
Do we need to move on the water report, or?
Yeah, we can do that, Nick. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I don't have that copy in front of me. Approve as presented.
Which copy are you looking for?
I do have a copy,
Yeah,
the most current copy.
yes,
that,
'cause there were a couple of additions, but the last, most current copy is the one that is agreed upon, so.
Correct. So this piece of correspondence was dated June 2nd. Sarah had sent a copy of this over to the village after Jason had made a couple of additional recommendations. And so I'll let you take it from there.
Yes, so upon a conversation with Janet McFetridge this evening, that this was agreed upon at the village, that everything that we had set up in our previous meeting and these changes and additions is agreed upon, and that we should move upon it. So I'll make a motion that we accept the, I guess we'll call it the final copy of the water board report amendments that we worked on, and Rick worked on mostly, for months.
Okay.
I'll second that.
I just had a question.
Sure.
Will we or they write up a report with those recommendations in it, so that the village and town have a final copy?
I don't know, but we can contact the village and see if that's something that, you know, the October Village Water Board document can be adapted, or either that or this bit be put in as kind of an addendum.
Yes,
So-
something where it's on the record.
Correct.
for both sides, I mean, for, you know, future use, so there it is, where.
Right.
Yes, yeah, I believe that
Okay.
was, they were trying to, yes, I believe what everything Rick said is that anything that can be done retro to the last report versus moving forward, that's what's trying to be, I think, done here.
Correct.
Guess I have a motion and second, I
Yeah,
think.
no second.
Any other questions? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all four of us. We leave that copy maybe for Sarah, take care in the morning, or she has that?
She has this copy.
Okay.
This was a copy that she actually sent in an email to each of us.
Okay.
So she has a copy of this. and she
I'll
can
just
keep
tell her
it
to send
file.
that on, I'll have to sign it probably.
Yes, it is signed already.
Okay.
Yes, this one was.
Never send it on to the village.
Okay. And in terms of additional topics I think we ought to bring up is I want to applaud our new code enforcement officer. I think, looking at his most current and recent report, he's been very active. And we're very much appreciative of all of his service that is not only here on this paper, but all of the certifications and testing that he's having to complete to kind of make him, you know, be brought up to speed. So congratulations and then great work to Chris Matap.
Okay, thank you. Not a problem there. I have nothing. Go ahead.
I'd like to, in conversation both with Rick and Larry, and I'd like to make a recommendation that we form I guess, an ad hoc committee of the water and sewer to take a look with Rick, myself, the code enforcement officer, and Mickey Tatro, if he'll have us, to go through our EDUs,
Okay,
as well as take a look at our current code and make sure that everything is in alignment with the changes that we've approved with the municipal agreement between the village and the town, and just make sure that we're all set going into the fall. I think that was, Rick had brought that to my attention, and I couldn't agree with him more on that. It's a great idea, so I'd like to put that before you, just to, if we could form that, I think it would be a good idea.
Right, and I know Chris is quite busy right now in terms of, you know, preparing for this exam that's coming up in July. And
Yes.
so, maybe if you can just touch base with him and see if there's some time where we can kind of, you know, convene and even sit down even for an hour to begin the initial planning stages, and then kind of move forward from that. Which will also include, you know, hopefully an identification and also maybe some appointment of an EDU assessor. So we can move forward with this.
and I assume after school's out, you guys will probably have a little more
I would
time.
say it's a good summer project for
I
us,
think it's a great summer project.
going into the fall.
Okay, thank you. I have no problem with that. You can do that. Mickey, we've called him a few times, he's been helpful, which is good. He is doing our weekend checks at the pumping station on the Ridge Road. Okay, that's been good. One little step at a time,
Right.
okay? The bills, you got your abstracts, the monthly bills, and you pay the monthly bills. Looks like I believe Julie's got 3 more.
Two.
2 more.
Casella monthly billing for $90.12, and Verizon monthly billing for $38.01 and $22.97.
Okay, thank you.
I make a motion that we approve these additional bills, if I could, separately. With Casella, it's for building operations in the amount of $90.12. And for Verizon, it's part of it, water administration and central communication. Total together, the 2 additional billings is $151.10.
Any other questions on any of the bills? Okay, if not, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
I have nothing else. Julie, you got anything else? Does anybody else have anything to bring before the board? If not, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Bless you.
Thank you.